Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone. Today, we've got two decks that are battling for number one. There are currently three players battling for the number one spot. They're trading it back and forth every few minutes. We've got two of those decks. The reason we don't have the third is the third isn't a settled list yet. It's actually someone trying to figure out what the right list is to climb. So we're going to talk through those two decks, and then we have our first Sage deck from the great Dara JN and so much more. As always, it's custom card day. Let's get started with telling you about the stream team. We will have, if you want to see these decks with gameplay, check out tonight. It is Wednesday night as of the release of this video. Gaming with Flash X at 8 p.m. Eastern will be playing these decks. He will also be giving away a season pass on us on that stream. Then if you can't make that stream tomorrow morning, Flash will release a video of these decks being played. So please make sure you check that out. Gaming with Flash X is an amazing person. Tomorrow at 6 Eastern, it'll be Zal, and then Friday we're on to the Pirate King Tucker. Each day of week 2 comes with its own season pass giveaway, so please check it out. All right, our first deck is Ava Zord's number one junk. Ava hit number one with this. He's been battling for number one with this. I watched this played. There is a change to this deck. This is now a Sage deck. We're going to talk about that. That has both pluses and minuses. I'm not sold on that change, but this is very, very cool, very technical, and very powerful. This deck is not a simple game plan deck. It's a read and react to your opponent's deck. When you can read and react properly, this deck does amazing things. You can find Ava at twitch.tv/Avazord. He is a Brazilian player, but he streams in both English and Portuguese, so you can go speak to him, get some tips if you'd like to. So currently Ava's playing Sage for Luke Cage, and before we go any further, what I want to talk about is US Agent is a requirement for this deck. Sage for Luke Cage is really good, but it does change how you have to play that US Agent. With Super Skrull, Shang, Cannonball, Doc Ock, and Red Hulk all in the deck, US Agent without Luke Cage is often a dangerous card. It's still often very powerful, but it's very powerful in such a way that you can often have trouble playing it properly. Cool? So it's worth knowing that Sage has been excellent in this deck, and the deck hasn't fallen or risen in any special way since adding that card, but losing Luke really, really hurts. In fact, to the point where if I really wanted to try Sage here, I might actually cut Nocturne, who's also very freaking good in this list, in for Luke. Nocturne, by the way, has amazing play with magic. If you've got magic out and you've played Nocturne, you can just if you can read your opponent, you can see that they're setting up for like a skip or a light turn to try and get off on the last turn of the game. You can just get rid of that limbo and steal cubes. All right. Cannonball along with US Agent are needed for this. You can try Magneto for Red Hulk. That's not as good, but it's still pretty freaking good. Jeff can be Lizard or Medusa. You're fine just replacing Jeff with a power card. You'll miss the move, but you don't want to replace it with Nightcrawler, given that Killmonger's in the deck. And Nocturne, you again lose that magic play. Can be Gladiator, Red Guardian, Polaris, or of course Sage. All right. Turn 1, you pass. Turn 2 is Invisible Woman over Jeff. Invisible Woman isn't super amazing, but Invisible Woman gives a lot of optionality, a lot of ways to surprise opponents. You fairly often throw Invisible Woman behind Killmonger and just say, I don't really care about all your ones at the end of the game. You're not counting that extra math while I am. It's a way to steal cubes. You can also conceivably, in non-Professor X matches, drop a Super Skrull back there to surprise the opponent. If the opponent wants to fill that lane or throw a Cosmo there, Dr. Octopus is really good there. And of course, Shang or Cannonball, if you think they might play something big there, are completely hilarious. Magic's still your priority. You just want to get that optionality out as soon as possible. That's better than Nocturne. It's better than Luke, and you're probably not playing Sage this early, unless you're playing it behind Invisible Woman. Excuse me. That's the only exception to that play. We're going to talk more when we get to the third deck about what I think of Sage thus far. I have early thoughts, and as always in tomorrow's video, I will get several top players, including the great Ava, to tell us about their first impressions of Sage. Turn 4 is Super Skrull, or you do one of the turn 3 things. If you magic, Nocturne is often really good. You don't have to Super Skrull here. A lot of what Super Skrull does that's really, really cool is a lot of people are running Professor X, especially at the top of ladder right now, or Iron Man or other such nonsense, or like their own Luke Cage or whatever. Then you don't have to, you get a sort of mix and max, a mishmash, I can speak sometimes, of all of these tech cards by just throwing Super Skrull down, right? So you don't want to blindly play Super Skrull. 3 is better fairly often, but Super Skrull can often be game winning. Turn 5 is Dr. Octopus, or your last chance at magic. If you Dr. Octopus, what you're doing is you're saying, I have my last turn set up to either, or my next turns to set up to either, like they've already filled enough that I think Cannonball can win this lane, Sean can win this lane, or US Agent can win this lane. All of those are fine. There is occasional plays where you will play, where like they have a Shang through whatever means, and they will you will Dr. Octopus into a turn 4 US Agent lane, and that could be really powerful too. So turn 5 is Dr. Octopus or your last magic chance. Turn 6, Dr. Octopus or Red Hulk, or you can play the first of your control card, Shang or Cannonball. And then the same thing is true of the last turn of the game. This is again a highly technical deck. Ava only plays mind game decks as like a rule. This is like a super cool, super powerful mind game deck that's really, really interesting. I would not have thought this combo of cards goes together, especially at the top of the meta, but it is very cool that it does. So give this deck a try if you have the cards. I'm aware that many people don't have US Agent because it was buffed after it was out of Spotlight. I really wish they didn't do that. It's super frustrating. Please hit that sub, like, and comment. We bring you at least 3 brand new decks every single weekday. We get exclusive top of the meta decks. We have proven decks from all of the best deck builders with old cards and new. We do card replacements, everything you could need, including news, notes, bundle reviews in terms of shorts. Everything you want for your Marvel Snap journey is right here on this channel. Hit that sub, and if you're already subbed, like and leave a comment. It really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. The other way to help us for totally free is if you run out of time, if you're short on time, just watch the video as long as possible. The longer you watch, the better it is for us. Deck 2 is Batman 99's #1 Loki. As of recording, this is #1, and again, Ava, Batman, and our friend Sizer have been battling for that #1 spot for the past about 3 days. No one else has really been close to them. They've sort of opened a lead. Other people will join them. It's early in the month, but they've sort of opened a lead, and they are battling. Sizer, again, has changed decks. I talk to Sizer every day. Sizer has changed decks like 4 freaking times in the past few days. So we're not going to feature Sizer's deck until he settles on something. But Batman 99 and Ava have been playing fundamentally one list to the high rankings, which means that these are decks to talk about. And what Batman 99 is doing is playing a Loki deck. This is fairly standard stuff, right? The 2 changes here are 2 new cards, so I know that's frustrating again for many. That doesn't mean that this is the only way to play Loki, but this is a reminder that Loki in all its forms is one of the best meta decks still. If you have access to Loki and you want to climb, Loki is still an amazing way to climb. What's important here are that Valentina and Nocturne are both very powerful cards. Valentina gives you optionality if you don't see Loki, right? What you're really doing with Valentina is not the Loki game plan, but Valentina, if it pulls a Doom, for example, or a, I don't know, an Orca, can just be a surprise win often. What Nocturne does in this deck is slightly different. What Nocturne does, besides being something that you can throw in an Elsa lane and then move for extra power, Elsa/Angela and move for extra power, is a really frustrating thing that happens in Loki a lot is you'll snow guard early, and then you'll see Loki, but the opponent will play magic, and you'll really, really, really want to get rid of Limbo. You don't want to have to not Loki to do so. Well, if you have Nocturne on the board, that's not a concern. There's a lot of magic in the meta, which is, I think, part of what's making Nocturne so good. If you want my longer-term thoughts on Nocturne, please check Monday's video or the short where I gave a last chance review for Nocturne. Alright, so again, this is Batman 99's deck. This is an exclusive #1. No one else has this exact build of Loki that Batman 99 is one with, so hopefully you enjoy it. Thank you, again, Batman, for sharing this. Kitty, Elsa, and Loki are needed. I like Elsa better than Hope. I don't know how else to say it. I think Elsa's a better card right now in more decks than Hope is. Nocturne and Red Guardian can be Gladiator, Rogue, Juggernaut, and Cosmo. If you don't have Gladiator, have no fear. Serious drops are coming. Again, there's a short, and that's in yesterday's video if you want more on that. But any of these cards are totally fine. Juggernaut is super slept on. I don't know what Sizer's playing right now. Like, literally, he's probably playing as I'm recording, because he's Sizer and he's nuts. But I bet you money Juggernaut is in it. Juggernaut, if you are a good player, if you can read your opponent at all, is an incredibly powerful card. Jeff can be Cable, Mirage, or Nightcrawler. Valentine, I would just change to Cable immediately without any problem. Mirage is another card series dropping, by the way. And Snowguard can be Maria Hill. Of the high series cards in this deck that aren't Loki, I think Kitty and Elsa are extremely important. Ooh, did I not replace Red Guardian here? Yeah, I did. Nocturne and Red Guardian. Good. Kitty and Elsa are extremely important. Loki's obviously pivotal, right? Like, you need Loki to play a Loki deck. Kitty and Elsa are very important, but I think Snowguard's actually more important, and everything else is totally replaceable. Cool. Loki is so powerful because he works with so many different shells and so many different things, and it's just figuring out the right shell, the right balance for the current meta, and what works for you. Right now, I think the Kitty, Elsa, Angela package is strong enough that that's probably the best version of Loki, and you definitely want to be playing Snowguard in every Loki deck because +2 cards for one is insane, and nothing else does that. All right, turn by turn. Again, number one, this is dominating. This has actually been number one for the past several hours for most of the day, even as everyone fought over it. So turn one, Quinjet is more or less equal to Snowguard, is better than Kitty. For whether you play Quinjet or Snowguard, it's how many other card generation cards you have in hand, right? If you've got Angela and you know you're going to Angela or Jeff on turn two and not Valentina, not Coulson, then you want a Quinjet. If you might be Coulsoning, then you really, really want to get that Quinjet down instead. Because one of the ways you can win Loki games, if you don't see Loki, is to use those Coulson cards to great effect. I earlier today, just because weird things happen, right? The Coulson gave me actual 2 cost because it was an Elysium game, Sentry and Annihilus. So like, that kind of thing, right? Like sometimes Coulson just straight up wins you a game that you have no business otherwise winning. Um, so yeah, turn two, Angelina or Valentina are better than Jeff. I think Angela is generally better than Valentina, but again, if you know you're Lokiing on 4, plan to Loki on 4, and you don't have any other card draw, maybe you go Angela and then Valentina, but it's close enough. And Jeff is your backup plan here. I'd almost certainly play one of the ones over Jeff, but like not always, depends on locations, but usually play one of the ones over Jeff. Turn 3 is Coulson or Elsa. If I'm building that Angela game plan, I've got Kitty going, then I really want to get Elsa down. If not, Coulson is totally fine. And those are generally better than Nocturne, obviously, depending on what the locations are generally better than Red Guardian. Red Guardian is a tech card. Is there an Angela that you can snipe? Then you should probably play Red Guardian. Is there a hope that you can snipe, etc.? You get the idea. Turn 4, Loki, or you do one of the turn 3 things. Turn 5 is Loki, or 3 plus a 2. And turn 6 is auto-generated stuff, go wide, or the Great Shang-Chi. Cool. That's how you play this list, more or less. Loki is a deck that benefits from knowing the meta, so only play Loki if you really, really, if you really, really know what you're playing and playing against. It is our Drew Berry's custom card challenge. We did Star Wars Original Trilogy. They had to be ongoing or on reveal cards, and we have 2 winners. Our first winner is JD128 with a Jawa. This is such a cool Jawa. Bring back a card from either player's discard or destroy piles here. At the end of the turn, 50% card that card is destroyed. A Jawa is a scavenger. That is so thematic. I would not have guessed that this a Jawa would have won this. I was like, oh, a Luke will win, a Vader will win. But Jawa is so freaking good and so cool that the Jawa had to have it. Some ways to work this Jawa are discard and destroy decks. It also works really, really well with armor. I think that this is fantastic with random bullshit go. It's our friend It's Just Ree's deck where she runs like just like all the discard cards, right? She's running like 3 hand discard cards, Black Bolt, Moon Knight, and a card that's dropping to Series 3, Silver Samurai. And like Jawa would be amazing there. I think that would be a really cool spot for this. You just, drop this later, and it's a bear that it's adorable. All right, and finally, in a mill deck, Gladiator or Yondu love this, right? Like you're not destroying or discarding 50 cards in mill, you're destroying or discarding 1 or 2, right? And then you just get it for yourself sometimes. I think that's pretty damn cool. I like the Jawa. I think he could even probably get a little more power. Uh, the Jawa came with variants, and like what really sealed this was not the Lego one. Although the Lego one is very cool, it's the original Star Wars toy one. So like, oh my god, this is such a great variant. I love this. I want this in the game. Let's do it. Let's make this happen. Second dinner. Go buy the Disney license. The Star Wars license too. Okay, our next win is Greedo, and again, I would not have thought Greedo win. Greedo is Voltron's card. If an enemy card was revealed before this during this turn, destroy it. So if you have priority, this wins. If you don't have priority, this dies. So who shot first? Han or Greedo? Get it? Oh my god, I love this. This is so clever. This is great for your own tempo decks, things that run Squirrel Girls, a bunch of good ones, cards like Martyr. You can get a lot of power out early with Greedo. Once it's on the board, nothing kills it, right? So it's great. Or you can use this in your destroy list, right? You're perfectly happy to eat this with a Venom, and if you don't have a tempo, this will just feed your null and death by just being played. And it's cheap enough that that's not terrible. I love this. I think this is the coolest design. Props to Voltron. Like these are just like the themes won these two. The themes don't always win, but the themes were so on point that these ended up being our winners for the week. All right. Our next keyword is at the start of the game, and we're doing Star Wars episodes 1 through 3. We're not doing the sequel trilogy. Sorry. The most recent trilogy. They're bad, and I don't want to talk about them. It's gonna make me sad. I mean, I don't really actually love the early 2000s Star Wars either, but what are you gonna do? I think that those are at least old enough so that they don't hurt anymore. But this would be Star Wars episodes 1 through 3, and it's at the start of the game as the keyword. This will be due on 5/20. If you're interested in participating, please join Drewberry's Discord, linked in the description to this video. And you can make your own cards at snaptracker.me/custom. Cool. Hopefully you check it out. Yeah, enjoy. All right. Oh, sorry, wait. Clone Wars counts as episode 1 through 3. So if you want to do something from Clone Wars, that's totally fine. Yeah, because the cartoon Clone Wars, I might be saying wrong. Yeah, no, the cartoon Clone Wars is the best thing that came out of Star Wars episode 1 through 3 by like an insanely massive margin. So please feel free to take a character or card from that. All right, our final deck is Dara's Sage Bounce. And before we talk about this deck, let's talk about Sage. Sage has thus far been great. She is very often a 3/10. She's almost always a 3/10. She is sometimes more. There are ways to abuse her and make her more. I think that Sage feels to me like Hitmonkey with less work. So if you really like Hitmonkey style decks, if you want something that you can play that gets Hitmonkey's power late in the game because you want to be playing less power stuff, I think Sage is a really great buy immediately. I am very, very high on this card. I don't think it's as good as Blink, but I think it's about as good as Nocturne. But the difference is Nocturne isn't on curve play. So the way I look at like lower power cards, right? Like lower cost cards, excuse me. Like Angela is an early play, right? You want to play Angela on curve. Havoc, just using cards that are on the screen for you. Havoc is a late play. You want to play Havoc at the end of the game, not the beginning. Are your early cost cards beginning or late plays? There's obviously extra value to cards that are both, right? But those are few and far between. There are very few cards that are both. Part of what makes Gladiator so strong is he's a really good card early or a really good card late. Sage is a really, really, really strong late play, but sometimes late just means turn 4 or 5. Angela's a really powerful early play. Hitmonkey's a really powerful late play. You get the idea. I'm 99% sure at this point that there's going to be a Sage deck that runs Mockingbird, Mysterio, and Sasquatch, and it's going to be insanely powerful. So get ready for Sage to be really good as we go forward. I'm pretty freaking sure. Also, pretty damn good with White Widow, because White Widow has either a 0 or -4 there, and a 2, so that's 2 different costs for Sage. So Sage is now a 3/4 right there with that one play. You don't really want to do that, but if you can do that on curve and then Beast, you're not in terrible shape. All right, you can find Dara at twitch.tv/DaraJan. He's one of the biggest Marvel Snap streamers. You probably know him. Fantastic player. Has hit number 1. Usually chills around the top 100. Kitty and Hitmonkey aren't needed for this list. Hope can be Elsa, and like that's the only way to really replace her. But then please don't run Havoc. No, say if you don't have Sage, White Widow, or Havoc, U.S. Agent, Nico, Falcon, and Iron Man are your replacements. We covered in Sunday's video the best bounce deck of last season, which I still play because it's my favorite deck. So if you want to check that out, check out Sunday's video. Also, come on, you can't tell me you're surprised that I'm doing a bounce deck as my first Sage deck, right? We'll have very likely 2 more Sage decks tomorrow. I already think I know what they may be, but I'd like to make sure we're trying to build some stats. I trust Dara as a deck builder enough. Dara and I we met in person, but we haven't really talked at any length. He's just an excellent deck builder, so if he's thinking that this is a thing that works, then I'm sure it's a thing that works. Again, our goal here is to give you either proven decks with large enough samples that we feel comfortable, that are seemingly really good, decks that top the meta, and decks from deck builders that we trust and we know build quality decks. Era is the last of those, so here's the list. So turn 1, Bast is generally better than Hood, which is more or less equal to Kitty. You play Hood before Kitty if you don't have a 2-drop to play. If not, you play Kitty. Angela is better than Widow, and that's better than 2/1s. Turn 3, you want to get Hope down. This deck really wants Hope. You want to get Hope down, and that's better than Bishop, which is better than Sage. You can conceivably Sage. If you went, I don't know, Bast or Hood into Widow, then you could Sage, and then you can Beast those back, and you just got yourself a plus whatever the hell the opponent had, a whole bunch of power, right? That's at least an 8-power Sage right away, and then you Beast it back. You have a 2-cost 8-power card, which you can easily play again to get a bunch more power. Sage or Bishop +1 is your turn 4 very often. Beast and Havoc and a 1, or Sage and Beast are your plays on turn 5. And then you want to go Mysterio and Hitmonkey and Sage if you can in whatever combo. But if you went Sage and Beast, then you go on turn 5, which is a great play. Then you go Mysterio, Hitmonkey 1, and then whatever extra zeros you have floating around from your from your beast. And that's how you win with this deck. It's really cool. You have to be careful with your beast, largely because there's no Falcon in this list, but it's very powerful. I watched Dara play it for quite a while, and I plan to try it out. I've been playing it in Loki deck, but I do my best to not just feature my own decks because, well, I think I'm a good enough deck builder. Um, it's not exactly what this channel is for, right? This channel is for other proven deck builders and trying to promote the community and bring you the best decks from a variety. If you'd like that Nogi deck, feel free to hit me up on the Snap Judgments League Discord. I'll share it there. I was 10-5 with it today, and it's basically what I played as soon as Sage came out. It's the only thing I've played today. I was 10-5 with it, and then my son came home and started talking to me, and I immediately lost 3 games while I tried to talk to him. Then I was like, I should stop playing. I am tanking my ranking. Right now, just for the record, I'm 70 games into Infinite at a 69% win rate. I usually don't play Infinite very seriously. I test out all the decks for the videos. I have a good time. I stay in too long. I play fairly junkily. Um, but I felt like proving something for a little while. We'll see how long I actually give a shit to prove something. But 70%, 69% in Infinite isn't bad. I was at 71% before my son got me to lose 3 games in a row. All right, questions of the day. Rock Hagen asks about Q time and Conquest. It's bad. Conquest is a failed mode, y'all. Most of the best players play ladder. Conquest, I think Conquest was fun, but they made Conquest too much of a time sink for a casual game. They need to get rid of at least a level of Conquest. They should probably lower Conquest by a cube or 2 and shake it up. They should change what is legal in Conquest, what you can do in Conquest sometimes. They need to shake this method up because it's a failed mode. That's why wait times are so long. I'm really sorry to say that because I personally love Conquest, but I think the real use of Conquest was getting people ready for tournaments, and then Second Dinner decided not to do anything with tournaments. So, boop. Stuff asks how to get new Series 5 cards if you have boxes, tokens, and other cards. Should you use tokens or should you use solid spotlight caches in order to get your Series 5 cards, and if you have the other cards? And that really, really depends. If you have all the Series 4 cards that you could possibly want and all the Series dropping ones, you probably are fine using tokens, right? But tokens take much longer to... You'd rather get 2 Series 4 cards than 1 Series 5 card using your tokens, right? However, Series 5 cards take tokens take much, much longer to build up. So if you're not a spender, then you probably want to use caches because you'll build those up more quickly. You build up enough caches to get an extra 1 to 2 cards a month without spending almost anything, right? If you're buying season pass, you end up getting enough to get, like, I'd want to say 2.5 to 3 guaranteed new cards a month, right? So you're getting, even with the the season pass, you're only getting enough for a Series 5 card once every like 3 months. So you see what I mean? Like, you generally want to use spotlight caches since they will build up more quickly. You also occasionally get more tokens from them, which is pretty damn nice. I know people complain about it, but like in terms of getting a more complete collection, getting those 1,000 tokens is much more useful to you than getting a cool variant. Again, that said, this all changes depending on what else you have, right? If you have every Series 4 card, then maybe you want to use tokens and like just save your caches for when you can try and get 2 Series 5s and spotlights. So there you go. Heretics wants to know what to target for your very first Series 4 or 5 card. If you're early in the game and you want a Series 4 or 5 card, the Series 4 card I always suggest you get first is Null. I think Null is a really good place to start. Ravona might be challenging Null because Ravona is also excellent and like opens up access to a lot of decks with cards like Professor X. But I think starting with Destroy is still really powerful, and that's a lot of Series 3 cards. Sorry about that you can definitely figure out how to get. As for Series 5, I think that's easy. It's High Evolutionary. It's always High Evolutionary. High Evolutionary is the most important Series 5 card to get in the game because it immediately gives you access to a deck that you could use to compete with higher level things. You won't be favored in a lot of them, but you can win, and your deck will auto-win you some of those games. Now, Our friend Gregor2424, who is on the stream team on Mondays, has a video where he asked a bunch of content creators, myself included, and ranked the Series 5 cards that you should get if you're just getting to Series 5. So if you want more on this, please check out Gregor. Fire Troll asked about my favorite movie based on novels, and I have two that are really easy. Two of my 5 favorite movies without any question. The Princess Bride is a novel. It's a hilarious, fun, joyous novel that I love. As great as that novel is, the movie is better. By a lot. It's one of the most perfect movies ever made. It's one of my favorite movies. I watched it with my wife. I've watched it a million times, but I watched it with my wife on my wedding night. Another of my favorite movies is a novella. It's a Stephen King novella. Yes, it's The Shawshank Redemption. The Shawshank Redemption is one of the best movies ever made. It's a fine novella, very good novella, but it's again nowhere near as good as the movie. The movie is a thing of beauty and near perfection. Quick King thought, just because this is about the end of the video and I have the time. Anyone who's still watching now is fine with me rambling, right? Stephen King is an excellent writer who suffers from success. This is also true of J.K. Rowling, transphobia, and being a shit human being aside. When you're successful enough, people stop editing you and start letting you write as much as you want, and writing can suffer from bloat. You have to edit like crazy and cut things out and delete things and delete things and delete things to be a really successful writer. An obvious and famous example of this is The Great Gatsby is really short for a great novel. Part of what people love about it so much is that it's so tightly edited that there's not a wasted scene, that everything is perfect. Like everything that happens fits perfectly, right? Modern successful authors don't have that. Stephen King writes novels that are bloated, and they make his good writing suffer from being surrounded by so much bad or weaker writing. That said, his novellas are almost universally fantastic, because when he's trying to write a novella, he doesn't bloat, and then his strengths come through far more than his weaknesses. Cool. You can let me know if you have any thoughts on that, but that's my fundamental take on this issue. If you'd like some questions right out in tomorrow's video, please leave them in the comments. I had a really stressful day, so if you asked me questions yesterday and I missed them and you re-asked them today, I'd greatly appreciate it. Today was the AP language exam, and I had 5 or 6 union meetings. So it was just a very, very long day. I did not get to the comments. All right. If you are interested in supporting us more, please check out patreon.com/snapjudgments, as the following list of people did on the $10 tier in order to get their names read out in every video and get exclusive content. So I'm actually going to do an exclusive video after this for them. So if you'd like to check out that exclusive video where I just go through what decks I've played leading up to and in Infinite this season, just as a quick, hey, here's what I've been doing, check out the $10 Patreon tier. I don't think you'll be sad. I offer a lot of extra content there. All right, I'd like to leave thanks to Abigail Kiesland, Mandatory Burnout, A. Cables, David G. Wingfield, Direwolf, LAB, Bothor Newman, LAB. If you're getting sick of the game, do me a favor. Let's wait until around August and rediscuss. Shoot me a message on the Patreon. Bothor Newman, check him out on YouTube. Dream Team member. Good Dog Gamer, great deck builder player. All right, I gotta hurry up because I'm gonna do a second video. This is the way, Scotland. Inc. Jane Everett, JD McDonald Ho, who was on Snap Decisions. Kirtix Lee, great question asker. Koirei from Japan, awesome person. Pyrophros, great minis. Goat Seeker, one of Snap Judgments League pod. Denman Falcon, YouTuber. Doku, hey Doku. Philip Rakovich, one of our mods, super cool. Haplo, hi Haplo. Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone. Rob Silverman, one of the OGs. The Bizza, not the Jizza, the Bizza. X-Force V, awesome. Hey, X-Force V. And Skippy G, I like that they rhyme, sorry. Tommy Nyquist, Snap Judgments Season 1 League Champion, the King of Bros. Black Dahlia, the Great Kazoo, how you doing? Jessica Gamble, hi Jess. Ryan Wood, Kev Sihota, who's rocking out even though he's a low collection level, let's go. Luna Chris, hi Luna. Louis Antunes, my former student. Mod Supreme Models, Remes Setala, Brian Kaufman, Tristan H. Martin, how you doing, friends with real names? Fuzzy Dunlop, which is from a show, but I already forgot what show, oopsie. Spectrumix, who's going to beat me in Snap Judgments League this week. Matt H. Hey, Matt H. DJ Mikey Hijinks. Mr. No Flex. Ocularis. Hi, Ocularis. Craig Sterry. Killing it with the comments. Pretty damn chill. Seamus. Hey, Seamus. Spike Jones. Jonesy. Check him out on YouTube. Two Ties, whose deck got me 10th this season. The Pirate King Tucker. the homie men, and of course Gunny T, where the T stands for. Why did I decide to do a second video tonight? I should go to sleep. I'm doing another video. Can't stop me. All right, that's it. See you tomorrow for another snap take, unless you decide to join the $10 tier and watch my cool lo-fi video. Peace.